Well, it's official. That blonde lady has been deposed as top Captain Marvel because Shazam was 10 times as awesome as the Captain Marvel movie. Tongue twister. I mean, first of all, Zachary Levi is so much more engaging as a superhero and a person, really. He's playing a 14-year-old, and it's just so believable. Either he's an awesome actor or he never truly grew up. Either way, it helped his character. And uh, Andrew, I think his name is. His last name is Angel. The kid, basically. The 14-year-old. He is your quintessential runaway. He's playing a kid looking for his mom. He's not an orphan per se, he just has abandonment issues and could potentially be a supervillain if just the right nerves were tweaked. But ultimately, this character that they explore their powers with the help of the rest of the foster family that they're a part of, the Marvel family as they're called. And you can really see the reluctant hero that this character is. Because once the you know what hits the fan, Shazam is honestly the best superhero I've seen since Aquaman. And speaking of heroes and villains, in this case literally, not the comic shop, the villain, played by Mark Strong, who is clearly playing the part as if he should have been Lex Luthor. He's just awesome. I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to believe he's the same character we see at the beginning of the movie, who is kind of a scrawny nerd, only he's playing a grown-up who was once a scrawny nerd. Honestly, he's in full Mark Strong villain mode once he becomes a supervillain. And what can I say? He might be typecast in the near future or the far future or whatever, but Mark Strong is a top-notch villain. Now for the blink and you'll miss it character. The actual Shazam character, played by Djimon Hounsou. I don't know why, but for some reason he's playing characters that are blink and you'll miss him. He's on screen for maybe 5 minutes total, and I think that's how it was with the Aquaman movie and a few other characters. But he gives each character he plays for, again, 5 minutes, so much gravitas that they're all memorable. I don't know if he's ever going to get a longer bit of screen time in these movies, but I look forward to spotting him in each of them. As for the rest of the Marvel family, they're a bunch of kids who, surprisingly, are not terrible actors. They feel natural, slightly sitcomish, but they each have a good personality and quirks, and ultimately, they really end up stealing the show almost. But luckily, the main kid character works well with them. I mean, all 6 of them work well as a team, as you will see if you watch the movie. As for the adult members of the Marvel family, They don't get much screen time, but they are memorable. As are the certain background characters that show up periodically in the film. And speaking of the film, it is so funny. I mean, there are scenes from the uh, preview, the preview that were in this movie, and yet even though I saw them repeatedly via the commercial, they were still funny. It was just perfect timing. Now for the effects. Honestly, there were a couple times when certain characters looked a bit cartoonish, but for the most part, the characters were able to make me believe they were doing what they were doing. And while certain characters looked a bit cartoonish, again, most of the time they looked organic. The effects were passable, mainly because a couple times they added a bit of practical effect, like wire work, and it showed. Now for the stuff that's not comedy. Action, truckloads of it. Suspense, a fair amount of it. Drama, believable and not boring. I know some people might cringe at the fact that this movie is over 2 hours long, but honestly, even the slow moments were enjoyable to watch through because they had relevant information and relevant character interaction. It was just good. The music showed quite glaringly just how the movie was supposed to be a Christmas movie and didn't get that slot, because there was a lot of Christmas music in this film. But they made up for that little snafu by the fact that there is an appearance by Queen's Don't Stop Me Now that has only ever been rivaled by Shaun of the Dead. The music that wasn't Christmassy was pretty decently punctuated. Or no, pretty decently chosen to punctuate various moments. Not to mention some generic superhero scores that worked and ultimately made for a good listening experience as well as a viewing experience. Let's see, what else? Actually, I guess that's about it. Shazam is honestly way better than Captain Marvel. It was consistently funny, consistently entertaining, and while Marvel has taken a serious lead in the film verse, DC is clearly catching up with the likes of Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and now Shazam. If DC films continue like this, maybe Marvel won't be the top film verse anymore. Only time will tell. All I know is I really want to see a Shazam sequel. Far more than, honestly, Batman or Superman, which is kind of odd. Who knows? Maybe the lower tier characters are the ones that'll put DC on top, rather than the Trinity. Kind of makes me wonder if they're going to do a Mr. Plastic film next. That'd be something. This is Mr. J signing out and reminding you, when a wizard offers you power, just remember you're going to have to be a superhero, not a supervillain, because good's intrinsically stronger than evil. And you never know when you might end up looking like the Power Rangers. Viewers of this film will get my reference.